There are a bunch of seeds and crops inside Grow a Garden, but you guys don't know which one is the best seed inside the game. But here, I am gonna tell you which is the best seed and the best plant to use inside the new Grow a Garden update and the summer update that I'm going to be talking about right now. But firstly, before that, I'm about to reach 3,000 subscribers and I am 200 subscribers away. And I'm also gonna do a Fennec Fox giveaway. So let's get this video up to 100 likes and subscribe right now and comment down your username to join that. But before we waste any more time, let's get back into the video. Okay guys, so the first thing that I will be talking about and is the 10th best plant inside the game that I think you should use is still the pink lily, because in the last video and the last time I did this type of video, I said the pink lily was one of the best plants, but now the pink lily has now been the 10th place plant inside the game, and let me tell you why. First of all, the pink lily has a base value of 65,000. Yes guys, if you look at the values on the screen right now, I will be showing them for every single plant that I say in this video. But first of all, the base value is 65,000 and it has a base weight of 6 kg. Now 6 kg is not that much. However, if you use the sprinkler method and you use maybe some mooncats, which is one thing that has been applied to all of the fruits that I will be talking about inside this video. So all of the plants that I am ranking will be from my own tests and my own discoveries that I did with all of the best methods inside the game. And I'm also gonna talk about how to make those plants the best that they could ever be, because some of these plants are just insane and you just have to watch the end of the video. Anyways, this has a 65,000 value, and if you do the sprinkler method and you do the mooncat method, it can get to around 400,000 or maybe 300,000 in base value just from doing the sprinkler method and the mooncat method. Now of course, you cannot get this anymore as you could have only got it through the flower seed pack, and this had a 10% chance of getting. Now of course, if you still have the seed, I would recommend keeping it in your inventory because it could be buffed in the future updates. Now the next plant that I will be talking about is the sun coil plant. Now guys, the sun coil is super overpowered for a bunch of reasons. Now first of all, there is such thing as the sun coil method that can make a humongous, and I mean a humongous sun coil, because you could literally make like around 100 to 200 kilogram sun coils very easily because of its base weight. If you see right here in this picture, you would see that it had a base weight of 10 kilograms and has a base value of 80,000. Now yes, this is super high, especially if you are trying to make a plant, and if you use the mooncat method and the sprinkler method, this would grow by 10 times, and by 10 times I would say that this would have a base value of 800,000 with all the mooncats and all the sprinkler method combined. Now of course, if you talk about huge chances though, the huge chance of this plant is quite low. It has a 0.25% huge chance, making it very hard to get a huge version. However, if this does become huge, you have an 8 million plant really easily, or like maybe like 6 million. But you could have only gotten the sun coil in the last update, where it was still craftable with 1 crocus, 1 daffodil, 1 pink lily, and 1 dandelion for 40 honey. Now however, this is a limited seed, so you cannot use this anymore. Also guys, do you think I should do an obtainable seed only for these top 10 plants? And let me know in the comment section down below. Next is the 8th plant on this list, and I'm gonna be talking about the moon melon. Now the moon melon is still one of the best plants inside the game. Now the moon melon has a base price of around 18,000. Now yes, this is very low. However, you could use sprinklers on this. And what do I mean by sprinklers? Well, you can use the sweet soaker sprinkler. Now if you didn't know, the sweet soaker is very overpowered, especially for moon melons, because if you didn't know, you can use the sweet soaker stacked with the other sprinklers and maybe like 1 or 2 mooncat stacks, and you can literally make huge moon melons that are over 100 kilograms. Now let me tell you this though guys, the base weight of the moon melon is around 8 kilograms and has a huge chance of 0.33. Now if you didn't know, 0.33 is quite large. Like the average is usually around 0.2 or 0.25. This is very high already. Now of course, if you don't have the sweet soaker, it would have around 30 to 50 kilograms in size, but it is still very overpowered, especially if you are trying to just earn a decent amount of money. Of course, you can earn like 100 billions or maybe a little bit more. However, the next plants that I'm going to be talking about would literally make you trillions very fast and very easy. Now this next plant that I will be talking about is the honeysuckle, and yes, this is where we begin to start earning trillions. And let me tell you why the honeysuckle is is super overpowered. First of all, if we talk about values, the base value of this plant is 100,000, has a base weight of 12 kilograms, and has a minimum weight of 0.40 kilograms. Now, this, guys, is very overpowered. It has an average huge chance, which I'm talking about is 0.25%, and this is very average, very nice to have. However, one thing that I would want to talk about with the Honeysuckle is that this is super overpowered. What I'm telling you right now is because I will make this a video maybe later where I am going to say that the Honeysuckle has this glitch, and this glitch can literally make honeysuckles that are up to 300 to 500 kilograms. And what does that mean? The base weight is 12 kilograms. If we multiply that or like divide it from 500, then that means you would have an average base weight of 50 times. And what do I mean by 50 times? That means your new base value is 5 million. Yes, guys, if you do the glitch that I'm going to be talking about in a video and like that I will release later, it is super overpowered. And I'm going to tell you to do that right now because you can earn trillions. And I mean trillions, guys. It is super good. And of course, you would need a toucan pet and the other things that I will mention in that video. But the next thing that I will be talking about is the Rosie Delight. Now, yes, the Rosie Delight is still one of the best plants inside the game, of course, because of last update I did say it's like the second or third best plant that I said. But the Rosie Delight is a very new plant that you can still get in this update, and it is obtainable through the summer seed pack for a 4.5%. But you're probably asking me right now, why is this still one of the best plants? And why is it a bit lower? Well, first of all, it got lower because they did nerf the Rosie Delight. It was before like 100,000 base price, but they nerfed it so much that it's now only a 69,000 base price. But yes, the base weight is around 10 kilograms, has a minimum weight of 7 kilograms. But one thing what we know about high base weight plants is that they sell for a ton of money. And yes, that is still something that I would like to talk about because this sells for a ton of money. Now, I would recommend on you guys to get this because it is super overpowered. But they did nerf this though because now it's like 40. They literally just lessened it by like 40,000. But guys, I would still recommend on using this, especially with like some mooncats. Maybe just sprinkle in some sprinklers, and that's all you need to make this very nice to have. Especially that it's very easy to get with like summer seed packs. You'll get like once every 10 packs maybe. Okay, now next is this next 5 fruits that I will be talking about. They will make you trillions. Like no doubt, these will make you trillions inside Grow a Garden, especially if you have the huge versions of these plants. Now this one though is super insane, and it has a huge chance of 1%, has a base value of 72,000, and has a base weight of 4 kilograms. Yes, this is a very low weight fruit, but this could literally make you trillions, and I am talking about the Guanabana. Now, the Guanabana is something that I did talk about in my last video, but these are super insane, and let me tell you why. First of all, it could literally sell for a ton of money, but the Guanabana is so easy to get. All you need is to craft it with 1 aloe vera, 1 prickly pear, and 1 banana, and like some 30 summer coins. But this is super overpowered because you can literally grow a huge one once every 100, and that's super high. Not only that is because it's a mythical tier, of course, it making huges of this is super easy. They will probably nerf this, I'm telling you guys, they will probably nerf this in the next update. But the Guanabana is super overpowered just because this can grow 6 times to up to 10 times very easily just from using the sprinkler method. And if you did use the sprinkler method with the mooncat method, the new base price would literally be 1 million to up to 3 million. And I talked about this in my last video where I said the Guanabana is super overpowered. And if you do want to know how to make your Guanabanas worth trillions inside Grow a Garden, then you would want to watch this video on the top right of your screen. However, the Guanabana is still overpowered, and I would recommend on you crafting this while you still can, because I just believe that you cannot craft this in the next update anymore, because the next update would be the prehistoric update. Now, the 4th plant on this list is something from the last update as well, but you cannot obtain it anymore, and it is the dragon pepper. And the dragon pepper is still one of the best plants inside the game, and I'm gonna tell you one reason and one reason only. First of all, if you do the sprinkler method, there's no need for mooncats. You just use the sprinkler method and you will have a new base weight of around 40 kilograms to 60 kilograms. Now, yes, this is a bit low. This is around 8 to 10 times. However, it is still one of the best plants to use inside the game, because if you didn't know, all of the values I will have is on your screen right here, and I'm just gonna read it, and it is a base value of 81,000, a base weight of 6 kilograms, a minimum weight of 4.20, and has a huge chance of 0.33. That's very high, especially for a plant that's divine, and I would recommend on you guys trying to get this. Oh wait, you can't, but if you do get this, then it is very overpowered, and I would recommend on you planting it right now, because if you grow this, like, it literally has a base value of 1 million to up to 5 million, and that is insane. That's not even like a used version, that's a regular version just with the sprinkler method, because I tried this with myself and I had a base value of 1 million very easily, very fast, and I would recommend on you guys trying to do this. However, one thing you have to know about the sprinkler method though, guys, to make all of your fruits massive, you have to use the master sprinkler first, then the godly, and then the advanced, and then the basic, because if you didn't know, if you don't do that way, then you would have smaller fruits and you wouldn't be getting as much money as you can. Now, the next plant that I will be talking about is the Parasol Flower. Now, yes guys, the Parasol Flower is one of the best plants still inside the game. They did not nerf this, and it has still the same base price. And let me tell you why the Parasol Flower is now only 3rd place. Now, yes, I did say that it is better than the Candy Blossom, but one thing I didn't realize is that this is a single harvest and you cannot buff it with sprinklers, so it's kind of bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you have to get lucky in order to get a better Parasol Flower, and if you didn't know, it has a base value of 200,000. And yes, 200,000 is the highest inside the game, but I would still recommend on you trying to get this huge chance, because if you didn't know, huge chances are basically 10 times larger than the regular weight. And if you didn't know, the Parasol Flower has a base weight of around 6 kilograms, has a minimum weight of 4.20. Now, yes, you can get Parasol Flowers very easily with like more toucans, you know, all of that, and it would still buff the Parasol Flower, because if you didn't know, the toucan has this ability where it just makes bigger tropical fruits, and the Parasol Flower is one of the best tropical fruits inside the game. And yes, if you use that, you would have around 24, which is only 4 times the regular size. However, if you have the huge chance, 24 times 10, or maybe like 24 times 5, that would literally be giving you a 120 kilogram Parasol Flower. And what is 120 kilograms? That is a new base price of 4 million, and that right there is 4 million in base price, and with enough mutations, that is 1 trillion, guys. That is 1 trillion. And if you do have a really huge Parasol Flower, do not sell this. Really good, really keep it, just, it's insane. And then this next plant that I will be talking about is another overpowered plant, and it is the Sunflower. Yes, the Sunflower is still one of the best fruits inside the game, and let me tell you why. Currently, my main account only has a 1 Sunflower plant, and yes, I did delete all of my rainbow fruits and all of the things in my garden, but I'm currently like sitting in 3 trillion in money. But yeah, of course, I still have some Candy Blossoms sitting around, but this Sunflower is super insane because it has a base value of 160,000, and it has a base weight of 16 kilograms, a minimum weight of 11.5. But let me talk about the huge chances. Guys, the huge chances is super low, but if you do have this huge chance, you will be guaranteed 200 to 300 kilogram Sunflower, and that right there is the insane part about sunflowers, because if you have that huge chance with sprinklers, with mooncats, that right there is easily a 200 to 300 kilogram Sunflower. Now, currently the world record is around 500 kilograms. However, just from a like 200 kilogram Sunflower, that is easily gonna hit 1 trillion to up to 3 to maybe even 5 trillion for one fruit of that Sunflower. That is insane, guys. That is very insane, and I would still recommend on you guys using the Sunflower because it is just insane. And then finally, guys, the best plant still in the game is still the Candy Blossom. Yes, guys, unfortunately, it is still the best plant inside the game, and I believe Jandal will be adding a better one in the next update. And if they add that, I think the game might die, but hopefully it will not. But if you didn't know the values yet, if you haven't been watching my videos, like the base value is 100,000, the base weight is 3 kilograms, the minimum weight is 2.10, and has a huge chance of 0.5. And yes, that right there is why the Candy Blossom is super overpowered. The huge chance is 0.5, which is one of the best inside the game, especially for a divine fruit, which is literally just half a Guanabana. Yes, the Guanabana has a 1%, but this is a Candy Blossom, and the base value is like 30,000 more better. But anyways, that is the whole video, guys. And if you want me to give away like any pet, then just comment it down below. Don't forget to comment your username, and if you want to watch another video, then click this video on your screen right now. And until until tomorrow's upload. Goodbye.